Alex, welcome.
Hey, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. How you doing?
I'm great. Good to see you, Viv, and good to see all of you. Um, yeah, happy to be here. And I was really happy a couple weeks ago to be in Ukraine with many of you. So maybe a couple of you on the call here were also at that meetup and really had fun doing that. I hope to do more similar meetups like that and other places around the world. So thank you very much again for hosting me. And cool. All right. So Viv, I guess over to you. What should we talk about today?
Totally. I wanted to give community the opportunity. So obviously yesterday you posted kind of a bit of updates on from the engineering perspective. You talked a bit about this bull shark narwhal consensus, which we haven't really discussed for the community. So I wanted to give the community the opportunity to ask questions, but maybe even before they have questions, maybe give you the stage to explain a bit more about what the specific the excitement behind the specific consensus mechanism and kind of a bit more updates from a slightly technical perspective.
Yeah, sure thing. So maybe just expanding on the announcement that I gave yesterday. So the headliner of the announcement was that Mainnet is getting pushed back to the end of the year. That's maybe, I guess, the bad news up front. The good news is it's, I think, for a very good reason, which is we're re-engineering the consensus mechanism, uh, which, as Viv just mentioned, we're going to use bull shark narwhal, which is a type of consensus algorithm which can be used with proof of stake. And the advantage of this is that it enables more validators. So I think theoretically, the upper limit that we're looking to have on mainnet is 500 validators. And this isn't just stakers, right? Like this is like actual participating validating nodes on the network. And this is, I want to be very clear, this is different than most other networks, which function effectively a little bit more like the delegated proof of stake, where typically in networks, let's pick an example of Cosmos. There's only 100 validators, and everyone else is staking to validators, right? I think it's around 100. But for the most part, the algorithms used in networks like Cosmos or like Near or Celo, etc., like they're limited in the by how many validators they can have on the network. So one nice thing about Bull Shark and Narwhal, and just to define terms here, Narwhal is a name of a research paper that describes a specific form of mempool, which is a little more structured than your typical unstructured Ethereum or Bitcoin mempool. And that enables this kind of more special consensus algorithm, Bullshark, which lets more validators, participate in the network at any given time. In addition to that, it also allows for slightly higher throughput in terms of executions. This is why. So that two other teams, well, the team that pioneered this was the Libra team back when they were at Meta building their cryptocurrency, which is now no longer a thing. But the folks at Sui and Aptos are kind of many of the same people, and they pioneered this. And in fact, Sui's implementation of Bull Shark Narwhal is what we forked for ours. Now this was a decision that was taken around April. The challenge that we ran into over the past month or so was that the difference between Sui's paradigm and our paradigm, namely around private computation, kind of results in there's some implications that affect the low level design of this consensus algorithm, or rather the way it's implemented. And so what ended up happening is, well, although we thought just forking Sui's code base was going to save us a lot of time, actually we ended up kind of having to go back and re-architect some of it from the ground up. And if we hadn't done it, or if we don't do that, then we risk having some pretty significant security vulnerabilities. And so, obviously, as you guys all know, hopefully you've heard me say many times that we take security extremely seriously. In fact, arguably, it's the most important thing to us when we're building a network that ideally someday will facilitate financial transactions totaling in the hundreds of billions or even trillions of dollars. It's just critically important that it's totally airtight. So that's the reason why we're taking a little bit of extra time to make sure that the high level design of Bull Shark and Narwhal, which we're very excited about, maps to exactly what we're doing. And that effort is really, we're in the midst of it. And, the engineering team here is extremely hard at work on that. And you may notice that things may be a little bit slower in terms of response. The network may be a little bit flaky. Bug reports may take a little bit longer to get addressed. That's because the entire engineering team is working hard on this effort that I just mentioned. And we're working hard over the next month and a half, particularly because in August we have 4 security audits.